Hi, it's Ray from Pro Shaper Workshop in Charlton, Massachusetts, and welcome. Tonight we're going to be working on the Healey. We're going to keep refining it. The last video is done really good. Mark said it would be a good idea to make the videos a little shorter so he can get home early. So please subscribe, give us the likes, give us the comments, hit that little notification bell, and remember, metal is clay, and have a good day. It's Ray. Cut. Screw Mark. Take two. We're working on the Healey. We're going to iron this bugger out. We've got all this preliminary work done, but as you can see, we've got a lot of rippling and a lot of choppy water here. Mark made up some gauges and also some flexible shape patterns for in that. The flexible shape pattern allows you to index the gauge position. So what first thing I'm going to do is we'll take these flexible shape patterns off, we'll dust them, we'll show you a little bit of that, and we'll also punch holes out so that you can index exactly where the gauges are supposed to go on this side. There's no guesswork that way. And we'll be able to see how this absorbed all that damage, the arrangement damage from the accident, to see if we can determine if there's any area value change. So the first thing we're going to do is take this flexible shape pattern off. When you take a flexible shape pattern off, you want to be very careful not to let it touch itself. There's two things you can do wrong. One, see how this is separating here? The top layer has 1/4 of an inch overlap, and on the edges it's a little sensitive and it can come undone. So you got to coax it up a little bit sometimes. You can put a row of tape right here on this edge, and that'll reinforce the edge, but we didn't do it on this one. So it'll actually come off best this way here, so I'll carefully peel it up, and that way there, when you're pulling it up in the direction it was laid down, it won't separate. So this won't shrink or stretch because the fiberglass cords that are in this clear tape on the top inhibit any type of shrinking or stretching. So the two dangers are, one, the separation, and two, if you allow this to touch itself, it's not going to come apart. It really goes sticky on you. All right, it's separated a little bit right there, so I pushed it down and then pulled it back up again, and we're good. Now I've had students make enormous flexible shape patterns, peel them off, not pay attention, and then they stick them together, and then you have to make the whole flexible shape pattern over again. So it probably took, maybe an hour for Mark to make this one, and another 3/4 of an hour or so to make that one. So once you have it off, you can see what this is. This is the captured area value. It doesn't have any arrangement value because you can move it any which way. That's why I call them a flexible shape pattern. So now we're going to carefully put it on the bench, and we dust it. What do we dust it with? This is just plaster powder. So a good deal is just to kind of dump it on, and then you spread it around with the paintbrush. You hit the whole thing, and when you hit the whole thing, there's no danger of it sticking to itself then. It just totally kills all the sticky. Now you can imagine if you had the same situation, and you see a lot of people love those wood station bucks. If you had a wood station buck, how would you use a wood station buck to straighten this out? I want to know, because I don't know. I don't think you can do it. Even a wire form, which I prefer the wire forms over wood station buck, the wire form would not help you out because you wouldn't be able to get that on the wire form or the wood station buck. This doesn't care. The flexible shape pattern will read the area value no matter which arrangement you have it in. All right, so we're all dusted, and now you see the magic marker lines. These are all straight lines. Generally, you try to go 90 degrees or, you know, perpendicular to the flow. In this case here, it's in the valley. And we could probably put some more gauges in here. We might later. But now we want to punch holes in here. And the reason for the holes is we punch the holes in. Then we put this on over here. We're going to reverse it inside out. It's going to go down like this. And it'll register. And it'll tell us where we need to do stuff, number one. We can see right away we're way beyond the edge over here. So this has got to be spread out a little bit. And some of that is the valley is misshapen here. But we'll be able to punch these holes, locate this, and then we'll be able to put that gauge that goes here and a gauge here and a gauge here. So let's punch the holes out. When you punch the holes, you want to make sure you use about 3/16 to you know, maybe even a 1/4 inch diameter, and you try to do it right in the center. Mark put dotted lines in here. This is the valley in here, and this has got a gauge too on the valley. So we're going to try to go in the center, and we'll just punch these holes out. What we do is we'll take a pen when we get it back on over there, and we'll just reproduce that line by making these dashes like this, and that'll create the line on the panel, but reversed, and the gauge will be indexed properly. This is where the precision comes in. One of the 5 P's. If you don't do this, you're basically just guessing. So we'll continue on and get all these holes punched. We'll take the other shape pattern off, dust that, and also punch all the holes. Then we'll put them on the car, locate where the gauges got to go, number the gauges, and we'll pick up from there. Okay, we took the flexible shape patterns off the other side. We showed you that. We dusted them. We showed you starting to punch the holes. So then we punched all the holes out, and then the holes are about 3/4 inch apart or so. And then we darkened up all our lines on both sides, and then we numbered where the gauges are on the other side here now. These are inside out. So we're using our special aluminum magnets. They stick right to the aluminum. They're on our website, proshaper.com. The trick is you have to have 2 of them, see? Works really good. So now what we do is we want to accurately locate where all these gauges are. So we're going to put this lines in here, and we're going to put all the gauge numbers down so there's no confusion. And we try to put the line exactly where the original line was here. And we're going to number it. And the gauges all are supposed to end right at the panel here. If they don't end at the panel, you can put a little index mark, and usually put the index mark somewhere not in the middle but off to the edge. That will give you the ability to know exactly where that gauge goes really quickly. If it's in the center, you don't know if it goes this way or that way. You want it to be oriented properly, quickly. So you can see this flexible shape pattern is not fitting well. That's because this is crunched up. I think it's pounded up right here. This has got to be pounded down again. And it's overhanging where the edges are supposed to be, so it's got to be pulled this way a little bit. So there's a lot of pushing and prodding and and what's the other word? More P's. There's a lot of P's in shaping and straightening. All right, we got the flexible shape patterns. We put them back on. We marked all the spots where the gauges are. Now this is all indexed properly. The gauges were taken off of that side, and they were indexed on the flexible shape pattern. The flexible shape pattern is turned inside out and then now you mark through the little holes we punched in the flexible shape patterns, and now they're perfectly indexed. So now we can compare the left side to this right side where the damage was. Now, what we've done so far in this series is we've corrected the gross damage, the really bad stuff. And I hope Mark has a picture, maybe he could insert it right here, showing this all crunched together and all the folds of the metal that was all here. And this thing was actually popped up like this. So as you can see now, with just a clamp holding it where it broke off here, it's kind of registering together pretty good. The grill opening is a little distorted still, but it's getting close. So now these gauges allow us to do the refinement stage of the repair. So the area value has changed a little bit in a few spots, but it's mostly arrangement dense, meaning the area is the metal shrinking and stretching, which was set when Jensen made these for Healey back in, this was, I don't know, probably 66 or 67, I think, something like that. And I was really surprised to find out that Healey subbed that job of making all the aluminum bits out to Jensen motor cars. And I did a little research today, and they found out that they also made aluminum municipal trucks and stuff. So they had quite a different path in business, doing sports cars and municipal truck stuff. So pretty interesting. I'd like to read a little bit more about it. So the area value and arrangement value was set. I didn't find out, somebody asked whether or not these were handmade or pressed. I don't know. They were hand welded together. It's very complex. If this was a stamping, it's so complex they couldn't do it in one shot. So if anything, they might have made smaller dies, stamped the smaller pieces, and then they hand welded them together. And we found out that they would put in some kind of steel fixture that located them really good and heat sunk where all the joints came together, and apparently they TIG welded them. Not certain on that either, but that's quite possible. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how these gauges are fitting. So we have the marks over here. This is gauge number 2. And you can see Mark made these gauges and he did a pretty good job. So that fits really nice. We didn't put the marks over there. We should probably put them. We have these little index marks, which are good enough. But now this is put in at the same spot. And it goes this way, I guess. And you can see right now, this gauge won't register properly because this is way up. So this tells me exactly what I have to do. This is an arrangement problem, not an area problem. Arrangement is all bending. So I've got to slap that down until this starts to fit. We go to number 3, same deal. So this is all bunched up right in here, and we probably have to make some gauges going back here because it looks like this has got much stronger roll than this does. This is a gradual roll, and this roll is going back all the way. So that has to be straightened out. And with the flexible shape pattern on there, we found that the flexible shape pattern was actually going out over the edge. Whereas we made it to the edge, now it's going over the edge. That means this is folded up a little bit like this. So that's got to be pulled in. So we're in the refinement stage. And then we'll go into the finishing stage, which might be 2 or 3 videos from now. That's when we're going to iron this stuff all out and get the flow and surface quality right to where it needs to be. But first we have to get the refinement of this area value. We got the gross part of it done. It's starting to look like a Healey, but we got to refine this a little bit more now. We have the grill surround that fits on the bottom lip here. That's going to be a great aid in doing this project. Another tool that would be amazing would be to have a hood that we could fit to it. And I don't have a hood, but maybe somebody in the audience is close by that has a good hood that maybe could stop by and let me borrow it. Also, a right fender would be a great aid to get this all aligned too. I think I can do it without it, but and the little eyebrow on the grill here would be good too. That would ensure that everything would fit if we had those pieces. Unfortunately, I don't have those pieces, but I might be able to borrow them from somebody. I'm putting the word out now, plus I have a lot of friends in the community I can ask. So the next step, we've got it all marked, and let me see what the gauges say on the bottom here, and you'll get an idea of the battle plan, basically, to solve this problem. So we got gauge number 5. I didn't make the gauges. The gauges are over here. There's the index mark. And you can see right there, gauge number 5 is rocking like crazy. So what does that tell you? When it's rocking right there, this is pushed out too far, so we got to push that in. All right, so gauge number 6. All right, we got the gauge index mark now right there. That's where it goes. And you can see here we've got a big hollow here, and we're rocking right here. So that goes in. This has to come out. So again, that's another game plan. So we can pick away at this stuff, and these are our roadmap or our blueprint that we'll follow. Number 7 goes right there, and that's got too much crown in it, so we're going to have to take some of that roll out there. And number 9 goes right here, same story. We got too much roll. It's too fat right here. Boop, we got to pop it in. Some of this will probably have to shrink a little bit, but most of it's just going to be moving the metal around. This is gauge number 8. Gauge number 8 is right here. There's your index mark, same deal. So it's fat in the middle here. We got to solve that problem. Gauge number 11. All right, so that goes right there, and that has to come out here. And this lip, if you can see, this lip is all bent down. We're going to have to bend that lip up. Gauge number 10 goes right here. Oh my God, how does that work? Look at that. That thing's off about 2 miles. So it came off over here or so. I'd have to have the flexible shape pattern right about there. So we put that over here. You can see how far off we are. So that's going to be the first order of business, I think, is maybe we'll just iron this out a little bit more, get these gauges fitting a little better. We'll see if we can iron this out a little bit more and get these gauges fitting, and that should bring us closer to the goal line. So let me get my tools, and away we go. All right, so number 10 was the worst one. We're almost an inch away here, so I'm going to try to address that. I'll give it a couple whacks with a rounded hammer and bring that out. Now I've got this clamped up. I'm going to try to keep that together. I'll use my knee as an anvil here in my shot bag too, my little mobile shot bag here. So, all right, so the worst part of it is about right here, so I'm going to punch that out there. And some of it might be knocking this in a little bit, so I knock this in, that helps the other quite a bit. So let's see if I can knock that in a little. See what that did. Let's knock it in a little more. Okay, and then it looks like we definitely have to come out with that. So Now, it was mentioned in the comments section, why didn't I weld all this stuff up? Well, it's premature to weld it right now, but it's getting to the point where I'm going to start welding. There's a lot of cracks in the flanges, and they're kind of flapping in the breeze because of the cracks. But I got to get this arrangement set a little bit better before I start welding. Let's see what that did. Oh, that's down to a 1/2 inch, so give it a little more. I got water on the knee now. All right, that's a lot better. It tells you exactly where you got to hit too. You see where it's the widest, that's always your first target. Okay, and it's quite possible that needs to go in, and that will probably make that work really good. That's not bad. Okay, we'll stop there. Get this clamped up again. See that joint's wanting to come together. So we got number 10 in the ballpark. It was way out of whack. And let's see what the worst one is here now. Yeah, there's my number 6 one. So it looks like this is way proud here. So I'm going to bring that in. I might be able to slap that in. So just keep following the rule structure here. The rules is follow the dictates of this profile gauge. Alright, so that's a lot better. This needs to be rounded out here, so we got to pop that out now. So I have that rounded hammer, which is loose. I've got to reset the head on it. Do a couple hits, check it. Do a couple hits, check it. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. All right, so that came out again over here, even though I was hitting over here. So I'm going to hit that back in again. Let's try to use this hammer to knock that in again. Couple little hits. And always try to use a minimal amount of force, because this aluminum is actually really malleable still. And somebody mentioned that a lot of the aluminum used on these cars was a lot of melted down World War II airplanes aluminum. And I think I read something, I forget the name of it, it's got a odd name, aluminum, and it has the characteristic of not age hardening, and this seems to be the characteristic that I've noticed, that it's really still very malleable. So a lot of little hits, let them add up. what's coming. So always look for your worst spot. I got about 1/4 of an inch of gap right here. So we'll get that. It's rocking there again. I got to knock that back again. It still needs to come out over here though. Everybody always asks about work hardening. Now this would be the perfect candidate for work hardening. I went through that horrible accident and I've done all this work on it. And as you can see, it's super malleable still. So I generally don't see work hardening in aluminum or steel. When it gets stiff, it's after I've hit it with a hammer or mallet, shaping mallet, and made a lot of what's called walnuts, the big bumps and stuff. I call that confused, not work hardening. Because once you smooth those bumps out, it's very malleable again. So we've got this seesaw going here. We want to get this out without bringing that out. So again, another hand would be helpful here. I'll have to enlist my knee. It doesn't like the enlistment though. It's getting better and better. All right, so there's our spot. So that worked pretty good. I put the bag here, my knee here, approximately where the line is. Lots of little hits, let them add up rather than a lot of major hits, or big hits. All right, so it did come out a little bit there again, so we're going to knock that back in. That's getting pretty close now, still a little more right here. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, that's pretty good. Now let's go back to number 10. Put gauge number 10 on there. And gauge number 10, we got to bring out some, so. See if I can actually bend it. There was a real funny comment in the comment section. One of the guys said, you know, I've been a body man for 30 years and I come home and I watch you for an hour taking a dent out. My wife just doesn't understand it. That made me laugh out loud. I'll tell you, that was pretty funny. All right, so that's got to go in there. Well, let's check number 9, see what number 9's doing. All right, so that's got a big proud spot right there. So we'll see if we can slap that in. I want to grab this and roll it out too. I'm going to go get a pair of pliers. I'm going to just use channel locks, I think, and I think the channel lock will grab on there and just roll that out a little bit. All right. Here's those curved pliers I showed the other night, and I didn't know what they were, but I got about 10 comments that they're cobbler's pliers to set the lasting or something, and somebody said they were Witcher, and sure enough, there's the brand name Witcher on there. That's not appropriate for this here. I probably could use those there. Let me see. Let's see if that'll pull that up. Yeah, I got another potential here too. This would be your standard channel lock. That'll bite in. I don't like that. And these I made a long time ago, so they'll reach over flanges. Let's see if I can get those in there. Got to tighten them up a bit. There we go. I think that just needs to come up. That's a little bit better. We'll refine it further. So we'll just keep checking our gauges here, moving this metal around. We'll planish it out. We got number 11. Number 11, it looks like this has to come out right here. See if I can muscle that. I should have gloves on. Okay, that's not too bad. Gotta get these gauges in a spot where I can access them all. Number 9 again. Number 9's a little proud in the middle. We'll tap that. Let's just try holding this. And if we hit it slow and easy like that, we're not really going to be stretching it. We're just rearranging it, moving the metal, not expanding the metal. So that one's number 8. Number 8. That's why these gauge index marks are so important, so you know where they go. It goes right there. So that's a little fat there. Might be able to do that with the slapper. Number 8 again. All right, that's a lot better. Number 7. All right, and 7's got that fat zone right there, so. Much better. 8, really good. 9. So you just keep going around and around the clock here. So 7, 8, and 9 are really good. 10's probably off. Let's get 10. 10's over here. And 10 went wacko on us again. All right, so why is 10 doing that? 11 is reading a little strong right up here. Let's push that back a little. What I really need is a gauge on this line right here. Unfortunately, I don't have it right this moment. But let me go take a look at the other side to see what we have. Looks like this has got to come out right here. That's what I would guess. Yeah, that's supposed to have a curve to it. And this is pushed way in, so this has got to come way out. So, put that there. I'm not a good lefty hammerer either, but I got to do it. I sympathize with the lefties when they have to always do the right hand hitting. Let's get a dolly in there. That's better. So I've got this flange line with a nice little crown, but we got to get a gauge made for that. And this is showing it's got to puff out, or this has got to go in. I'm not sure, but if I go in with that, it's not lining up too good over here. Let's see, this actually wants to go that way, unless this wants to come this way. Maybe that needs to come this way. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. I'm liking that, yeah. All right, so now we can put that clamp back on. Put 10 in there again. And I'll see if I can come out a little bit with that. Just puff that out a little bit. Much better, much better. Slide that up a little bit. Okay, just a little bit more. So the problem here is I've got to get this smooth enough so that these join back together again. I can weld it together. Then when I get these welded together, this is a solid piece, and I'll probably actually brace it somewhere. Then you can really work the surface. And there'll be a few spots that might be high that will have to be shrunk in with the torch, and a few low spots, and we'll average out those lows and the highs and get that surface quality where it needs to be. This is where the patience from one of the 5 P's comes in. You got to be really patient here. You just chase this where it leads you, and then you keep chasing back over all of these to make sure you haven't done anything that's affected the other part. And slowly but sure it'll just want to come back together again. Alright, so either this has to come way out, which if I bring that out now, it's going to upset this line here. So I suspect that has to go in right there. But number 9 will tell me also. Number 9 says, yeah, it's a little bit high there, but let's push it in a little bit and see what happens. So it's right about in here. Couple little hits. Try right in the valley. Okay, so that seems a lot better. This needs to come out over here. And we'll check number 9 to see if we made a problem. Yeah, we did. See, so we brought that out, which helped this one, but it fouls this one. So what do? Well, I was suspecting that the culprit was here, but maybe the culprit is over here, because if I bring this out, then I don't have to be so far in there. But if I bring this out, it might have a problem here. But this is a chess game, and the object is to not give up and to win the game. So it's quite a challenge. So let's see again. That fits like that. But number 9 is not reading well. Number 9 shows that it's got to come out. And in this case here, I believe number 9. So number 9. Yeah, look at that. Nice. This should be off now, so. All right, so we tried that route. We tried knocking that out. So now we can't knock this out. That's not out. Most of the problem is probably over here, so we got to pull this out a little bit and see what happens. So how do we do that? We got to back it up. Let's do a measurement. So it's all quantitative. So we put this on here, and we've got a good 1/2 inch of clearance here when we got indexed on and everything. So if we hit this a couple times, then we bring that 1/2 inch down, and we've got a nice fit on number 9 gauge. I think number 8 and 7 are still good. Yeah, 8 and 7 are really close. So let's see if we hit this and bring this bottom edge out, whether we can close that 1/2 inch up. Again, let's see, we're going to have to clamp this on here so it doesn't flap in the breeze. Okay, so let's see what happened. We made a big mushroom here. Alright, so that did close up. We got it down to about 3/8 of an inch. So this has to pop out right on that leading edge there. Might have to get a vice grip to hold this together because it's jumping around. Yeah, I'm going to go get a vice grip and clamp that solid. So we're making some progress there. We got it down to, we had a 1/2 inch. We got to come out a little bit more, but We have a broken flange. I don't know if Mark can show you that broken flange through the window here. Maybe over here through the grill, you can see it. So let's see if I can muscle that out at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, I just muscled it a little bit and then see what happened there. I went too far. Okay. Much better. I want to see if I can knock that flange together a little bit. Okay. So that's looking a lot better now. Let's look at 10. And the lesson here is that you really have to keep going around the horn. Now 10 is telling me I got to bring this in. I got a big blister I popped in there. It's a little too strong, so I got to pop that back. See what impact that had on that. Well, that's all still good. Let's look at 10 again. So this has to come out some more. So we're going to put the bag on here and hammer that. What happened here? Alright, so we screwed it up by knocking it up there, see? So it seems to be really in again there, so this has got to pop out on the corner. See if I can hit that corner out. Alright, we're back in the ballpark. And 10 still needs a little, but you remember this was off quite a bit before. All right, right here is proud here. I gotta, that's showing up. Try 10 again. Still right in this area here. So we never know how much we're going to do in one of these videos. It's you know, it's a seesaw problem here. One goes up, another one goes down until you start out with a 3/4 of an inch off, and then it's a 1/2 inch, and then a 1/4. But if you keep using these gauges, you're going to get it really good. Now that corner, again, pulled in. So this corner keeps wanting to come in. So I bash that corner out. This would be a great time, like if we knew what this profile was supposed to be and we had a fender attached to it, or we could bolt the fender up. That would give this a great amount of strength. You could substitute with, if you had the, well, I can take that line over there. Actually, won't be able to do it tonight, but I can take the line from that side, make a metal bracket and attach it to here, and that will make this really strong. And I'll have that metal bracket have the proper profile. That's probably what I'll do in the next video. So, you know, I don't know how much I'm going to get done tonight. I was hoping to get some of this done, but I put a lot of my focus in here, and that's getting a lot better. You can see this is coming together pretty nicely. We've got to refine this a little bit. It's all coming together pretty sweet, all told here. I'm very happy with it. Get the rounded hammer. It's probably best to put that up like I did the other episode and work that edge really nice. It's lost its definition right here, and it's very difficult to do it in this position, so it needs to be upside down to do that. So I think we made some really good progress here. Let's see if we can win a little bit of battle over here. We'll change the position here. So we got to get the other set of gauges. Number one is my number one gauge here. And you can see that's off about 1.5 miles. It doesn't go that way, it goes this way here. So that one's way out of whack. Two, we're showing this being proud. Remember, we got this proud all along.
That's right.
Cool, yeah. All right. And I believe that's opening it up here a little bit too, so that's all good. And this needs to come up a little here. Well, much better. Let's put a dolly under there and get a little smoothing action. Now, a repeating question has been, why aren't you just making a whole new section here rather than spending the time doing all this straightening? Well, if this was a body panel that had been through several accidents and had had Bondo repairs, and someone got in there with a 24 grit grinder, and apparently you smooth metal by hitting it with a grinder. I don't know, it seems like a lot of people in the trade do that, and that's not a good thing. Anything that scars the metal is not a good thing. So when you grind it with a 24 grit, or you file it, you can't file smooth either. You're removing the thickness, you're making thin spots, and then thicker spots, thin spots. The metal is going to be jumping all over the place. So if that was the case with this, I wouldn't have tried to repair it. I think it's a great story for the video to show the correct repair process, and it's proven to be pretty popular on my channel, so I think I made the right decision. So I just wanted to say that also we have the 10-day apprenticeship contest. We have now 16 entrants to the apprenticeship contest, and there's still, I think, 2 days left to enter it up until the 1st of January.
It's 24 hours.
We have 24 hours left, Mark said, and so there might be some late submissions. We've had some excellent submissions. And very happy with that, and we'll be choosing a winner or several winners maybe come January, probably the second or third week of January. Which way does it go? All right, this one doesn't have an index mark, so that shows you the value of the index mark, and it looks like this has to spread out a bunch too, so let's check the index on this. Thou shalt have index marks. So that's the inside, and this one seems a little long on both ends, so I just mark this inside. Yeah, that's got to spread out a bunch yet still. Now we've also been working on the group project, if anybody wants to participate in that, and that would be, we've got a couple ideas, would be a weather vane, or also a sun, hanging sun for a wall hanging. And I came up with the idea of doing a wire form, and then shaped panels can be made for the wire form. So what we're planning on doing is we might, we'll make an actual wire form and maybe make a few of the panels to show you what we got what we have in mind for the pieces, and then people can make their own if they so desire, and then we'll have them post the pictures, and we'll post all the pictures on our website, proshaper.com, and then we'll choose one of the best or several of the best, maybe one for the weather vane and one for the sun wall hanging, and we're going to give out a free class for that too. That would be a 4-day class as an incentive. So that'd be a learning exercise with a potential for winning a class. So you can see here, this gauge is a little bit long on the ends, probably about 1/8 of an inch on each end. So if we put number 3 on there, it's still a little bit narrower, so this has to be stretched out this way, and the way that's going to be stretched out is this valley has to come up. When that valley comes up, this will move this way. So we have the gauge running in the valley too, which is super critical. We got to get that just right. And this is registering right here. and the valley here is got to go down because we've got a rock here, and I think the valley here has got to go up. So we got a rock right in there. So that tells me that that valley has to either shrink to go down. It's got to be stretched on this case here because it might have got shrunk when we hit it from the other side. So there's still a lot to do here, and we did a pretty good accomplishment tonight on this. But this is the meat and potatoes. This is what everybody wanted to see. We did the gross damage removal, which is taking out all the folds and making it look from horrible to somewhat okay. But now we're at about probably 80% of where we need to be. That last 20% is probably going to take 4 or 5 videos to get this all ironed out, fitting the gauges proper, and we'll do it all on video so we don't skip any steps. Anybody has any questions, just ask them in the comments section. We're thinking of putting a forum on the website so that you can ask questions, which will be a lot more readable and accessible for everybody. So we'll have these questions and we'll put them in categories, and then people can refer to them very easily, and then the answers will be there. And we might even tag URLs in the answers so that you can do a video answer. Not you, but I would take a section of the video or make a special video to answer the question. So that's what we're shooting for. So I think we made some really good progress. I don't think we can do too much more. It's 11:15, Mark told me. He's got to get home. He's got to let the dog out. The dog's got to go to the bathroom. And my wife's wondering where the hell I am. And so we did some minor little tweaking here on the bottom. We made a little improvements, but the important thing is we've got all the information captured. So now we go in here not blind, but with a plan. So as you saw, the metal is still very malleable, which metal is clay, comes to the fore. Remember that the metal will move exactly like clay can. That's why I keep insisting on it. And this is proof right here. We're moving the metal. Everybody, work hardening, work hardening, work hardening. I don't see it. There are some metals that do work harden, but aluminum and steel, automotive metals, generally you won't see it too much. The new car metals are a totally different ball game. I don't play with the new cars at all. After about the mid-70s or something, I don't see anything. So I'm never going to worry about those cars. That can be the next generation that worries about those cars. So thanks for watching. Remember, there are 2 ways to solve this problem. One, you do it with your checkbook. You have somebody else do it, and this can cost a lot of money. The other way is you have to have passion, you have to have patience, you have to have precision, you have to have persistence, and a little bit of prayer. Someone else said a little perseverance would help. And if you're doing the work for somebody, a payment would be good also. So there's a lot of P's that apply to this problem. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spreading the word. Remember to please subscribe, hit the like button, and give us the comments. Hit the little bell, gives you the notifications of the new videos. And we're trying to do 2 a week on a regular basis now. Hopefully we can come up with some more. So hang in there. We're going to get this Healey done. Thanks for watching. It's Wray from Pro Shaper Workshop.